Hello, Libra. Welcome back to the channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. So let's see what's coming up for Libra. Okay, your central card is 7 of Clubs in reverse. Your shadow position is 6 of Cups. Passing away is Empress in reverse. Approaching is 5 of Cups. And highlighted is 3 of Swords. Week 1 is Knight of Coins. Week 2, 8 of Coins. Week 3, 8 of Swords. Lots of 8s. 8s are power numbers. So let's see what else. And 7 of Coins. So you've got some 7 and 8 energy. 7 is usually a spiritual number. And 8 is a number of power, either powerlessness or, it usually has to do with giving and receiving in balance. So I'll talk a little bit about that. It also has to do with prosperity and abundance is what 8 is about. So your central theme is 7 of Clubs in reverse. Now 7 of Clubs in the upright position usually means standing up for yourself, being assertive, defending a cause. I've also heard this card referred to as success despite adversity, because you can see in the card that he's in an advantageous position. He is at the top and he's fighting off these people below, or he's leading the charge and these people are following him. So when 7 of Clubs comes up, it means that you are stepping into defending your beliefs, defending your boundaries, asserting your cause. It means that you're just basically standing up for what you believe in and, you're willing to fight for it. So when it's in the reverse position, what it makes me question is there a way that you are having hesitancy in defending your boundaries? Is there a way that you're fearful or have doubt about defending your space or defending what you believe, to stand up for what you believe or being assertive? Whenever cards are in the reverse, it means that there's some sort of resistance that's going on, some sort of fear or doubt or hesitancy. So I'm going to encourage you, Libra, to really focus on defending your boundaries, defending your space, standing up for what you believe in, even if it means like championing a cause or kind of going for it. Because this is success despite adversity, I'm going to say that if you're encountering success despite difficulty is what I mean, not diversity. If you're encountering any kind of difficulties during March, I'm going to encourage you to stand up for your beliefs, defend your boundaries, because this card shows success if you're willing to do that. If you don't defend your boundaries, all these people tread all over you. So don't allow people to march all over you. Don't allow that. Stand up for, use your voice. Stand up for what you believe. This is fire energy. So employ the fiery, passionate, enthusiastic, optimistic feelings of fire to triumph your cause. And really, get to be who you are and stand on the top of that mountain and declare yourself. So that's your primary and central message. We're stand up for you. What's passing away is 6 of Cups energy, or rather, sorry, this is what is in your shadow. Empress is what's passing away. What is in shadow right now is usually something, what's in shadow is 6 of Cups, but shadow is usually what is under the surface, something that we can't see, something that we don't have access to, something that is being held underwater or sort of what I'll call through a dirty windshield. We can't quite see it clearly or correctly. It's around the corner. It's not available. And this is 6 of Cups, which has to do with innocence. It has to do with being young and childlike. This is a card of 2 children who are giving presents to one another. They're giving each other cups, which is heart energy. And they're sharing in a very sweet, childlike way. So this is like the love that is between children, or when we see children sharing a toy. it's innocence, it's naivete, it's the beautiful, loving energy that we have when we're children, when our hearts are open. And these lilies represent innocence, openness. You know, this card can also represent sentimentality or reunion, things from the past. So what I'm seeing, Libra, what I'm going to ask, is there some way in which you're not able to connect to that sweet, open, young, innocent part of yourself? This is like having an open heart. And children are very forgiving of one another, or they switch from one emotion to the next. They don't really hold grudges too much. They just, you know, they fall down and then they get right back up. They're not worried about things that adults worry about, which is like shame or image or any of that. They're just open and really, really who they are. So if this is in shadow for you right now, Libra, I'm going to ask the question of, is there any way in which there's a block between you and your heart being open and innocent and free, really sharing the emotional world with someone else? This is cups energy. So this represents the heart. This represents emotions and feelings, water energy. So in what way is the sweetness of being open and innocent and sharing being blocked right now? How is that being held underwater? Is there any fear or doubt or resistance to just being like the inner child that you are? That's a question that comes up with 6 of Cups in the shadow position. Empress in reverse in the passing away position talks about, you know, Empress is usually about prosperity, abundance, things growing, things being fertile. Empress is a card of when whatever you are nurturing is coming into more life, coming more into abundance. This is also the pregnant mother, so she's receptive. She's often depicted as pregnant, and it can have to do with anything that has to do with love, things that are creative projects, things that grow, basically. She's a real card of fertility, receptive. She's also very full in every way possible. Everything grows around her, and we see these trees, we see the waterfall flowing, we see these sheaves of wheat and the flower blossoming. Everything is full and abundant when we see Empress. So with this in reverse, it means that there may have been a block to things flowing, a block to a resistance or fear or delay to things growing and being abundant and fruitful and prosperous. But what's great about that being in the passing away position is that if there has been any block or delay in things being fruitful, things growing, things being fertile and abundant, that's going to be passing away. The block of that, you know, coming to fruition, if things have been suppressed, that's going to be passing away. So she may be more available to you. She is showing up in your spread, so there is a lot of nurturing, birthing, fertile, growing and prosperous energy. And whatever blocks to that kind of energy are happening, that's going to start passing away and dissolving for you in March. So that's what I'm seeing for Empress there in the passing away position. In the approaching position and your highlight, there seems to be some sort of sorrow, sadness, or grief. The thing that both of these cards have in common is some sadness. And I'm not sure how this is showing up for you, Libra, but 5 of Cups usually has to do with mourning or grieving, you know, looking at the blood or wine that has been spilled here in these 3 cups. That's in the foreground. But what I always point out with this card is that there's still 2 cups remaining. It's not like all is lost. It's just that that's where your focus is. And sometimes if that's where your focus is, you miss out on what is still available, what is still there. So you may have to do, coming up, this is the approaching card, so coming up for you, you may have to spend time grieving over a certain loss, but if you do a 180 and you turn around, you'll see that there's still love available. That's what these 2 cups represent. So that's the approaching influence. There may be some sorrow, some needing to let go of some things, to grieve something that you loved, something that has been spilled. But what's highlighted also is, this card is Three of Swords, and this means just heartache, something heavy on your heart. This can be disappointment, betrayal. It can mean just sadness. This dark cloud is usually depicted in the Rider-Waite as having raindrops coming from it. And what I usually say with both of these cards coming up, excuse me, with both of these cards coming up, I'm seeing some sort of sorrow, or there may be some need for tears. What usually helps clear this dark cloud away, Libra, is shedding tears. And what that does is it creates the storm that clears all the clouds away. So if you need to shed some tears over something or let some things go, it may be beneficial to you to actually acknowledge whatever grief or sadness, sorrow, to come up, because that's going to help you get past it. That's going to help clear away these clouds. So there might be some heaviness, Libra, but I'm going to still encourage you to stand up for what you believe in, defend your boundaries. This person, remember, is success despite adversity. So that's what I was trying to say. I was trying to say adversity, not diversity earlier. For week 1, what is highlighted is Knight of Coins. This means, knights are always playful, romantic, clever, adventurous, experimenting. And Knight of Coins is the most steadfast one. He's very grounded. So this week 1 of March is a good time to ground yourself, consider the bottom line, consider the practicality of the matter. He's earth energy, and this is normally known as the salesman card. So what the salesman card is really concerned about is, what is the bottom line? What is the cost versus benefit ratio? What I'm really getting for you, Libra, in the first week of March is to really weigh the pros and the cons of the matter, because he really thinks about things before he goes into battle. And I'm also going to say, with this card showing up for you for the first week of March, pick your battles, choose your battles. He really will. He's very practical, and he's just very grounded. He's the Jack of Earth. So I'm going to say, choose your battles. He doesn't just rush into battle for the glee of it. He really kind of steps back and considers, like, is this going to be beneficial? Is this going to be like a waste of my energy? He really does choose his battles wisely. So that's a message that I'm getting for you, Libra. First week of March, pick and choose your battles wisely. Really weigh the pros and cons of something. Alternately, this could be an earth sign person. So King of Coins, I keep wanting to call him a king. Knight of Coins can be either Virgo, which is earth, or it could be Capricorn, or it could be Taurus. So that it's possible that this is a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo man who's featured during the first week of March. And I'm going to say, if you're engaged or involved or have an earth sign person, an earth sign male that you are involved with, pick and choose your battles wisely. Be practical. Be grounded. Be even keeled about things, because you don't want to rush into battle. Knight of Coins doesn't waste his energy on battles that he can't win. So that's the message for that card of the first week of March. The second week of March, Libra, this is 8 of Coins. And 8 of Coins is about putting your nose to the grindstone, churning out work. This is the artisan card. He's sitting at his workbench. I sometimes say, whistling while you work. He hangs up all of his wares on display, and this is a great card of creating money through your work. It's a card of usually really enjoying your work and being very productive and creating a lot of abundance with that. That's that 8 energy of prosperity and abundance. With 8 of Coins in reverse for the second week of March, Libra, there may be a way in which you're not as enthused about your work as you usually are. Sometimes this can be resistance to your normal job, whatever it is that normally makes your heart sing and you feel creative. Sometimes this can be a creative block, or like, I really just don't want to go in to my workbench or my desk, or what I normally do to create money. You're just not feeling it during the second week of March, and that's okay. It's just good to acknowledge that maybe work is not your focus for the second week of March, or you don't feel as productive. You might want to just ask, what is blocking me? What is causing a resistance? Maybe there's something else that's trying to emerge. Maybe there's some creativity that your focus needs to not be here, but it needs to be elsewhere. Sometimes that's how I will interpret 8 of coins in reverse, is that maybe the focus on the work isn't serving you. Maybe you need to pick your head up and look at something outside of that, because that is going to inspire you. Maybe you need to get out of that routine and have something that reinvigorates your work. So that's the message for the second week of March, Libra. For the third week of March, we have another 8. So 8 energy, because I'm getting 8s for second and third Libra. This really, this speaks to you, Libra, because 8s are about giving and receiving in balance. That's where the power of the 8 unlocks. And that's where we see the abundance of the 8 happen. So I'm going to also focus for you, because your sign is the sign of the scales and weighing things and having things come into balance. I'm going to ask you, in what way are you giving or receiving in balance? Are you giving too much and not receiving enough? Or are you receiving too much and not giving enough? In what way are you balancing your need for the self with the need for others? Are those balanced? Because what this is telling me is that maybe you're not standing up for yourself enough, or maybe that needs to be addressed. And then things come more into balance. But I'm really going to encourage you, when you can bring giving and receiving into balance, that is where abundance, prosperity, the power of the 8 unlocks. I usually use for this the image of a boat for 8 energy. And when a boat is tipped in one direction or the other, if the nose is in the water or if the tail is in the water, it can't go across the water. But when it's in balance, it can go. It harnesses its power. So figure out how to come into balance, especially for the second and third week, Libra. That giving and receiving in balance is really going to help you to tap into your own power and open up a lot of prosperity and abundance there. For third week, I have 8 of Swords, which this card means being trapped by your own thoughts. So swords represent thoughts, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, thinking, our beliefs. And with this card, what it means is that the woman's beliefs are what's encircling her and trapping her. So she's not actually totally enclosed. She actually has a path out of this, but it's her belief that she is victimized or that she's powerless that's keeping her there. There's no one else there. It's just her own beliefs that are encircling her and keeping her trapped. I always point out in this card that she could cut these binds on one of these swords, pull her blindfold off, and walk away. She's not seeing things. She's stuck in her mind and the beliefs that entrap her there. So I'm going to encourage you to challenge this during week 3 of March. In what ways are your own beliefs trapping you or keeping you isolated, making you feel like a victim or powerless in a situation? You actually have more power than you think you do in the third week of March. And I'm going to even go back to the central card, is that this person knows that they have power. They're in an advantageous position. In the reverse, you may not be acknowledging that you're in an advantageous position. You may be focused on the challenge or the difficulty, the adversity. But I'd like you to focus or refocus that you are in an advantageous position. The more that you can do that, Libra, and realize the strength of your own power, you will be able to just see, oh, I can just walk out of this anytime. I don't need to believe all these things. So that is an opportunity that I'm going to present to you for the third week of March. For the last week of March, I see 7 of Coins, and this is the Farmer card. This is the card of patience. This is the card of reassessment. It means taking a look at everything that is growing around you, the fruits of your actions, and seeing if you want to continue in that direction or if you want to change direction. So if you like the results that you're reaping, Libra, continue doing that. If you want to change the results that you're seeing, then you just need to plant a different crop or sow different seeds. So this is a really good time to step back, reassess, reevaluate. I sometimes look at it as a crossroads, like, do I want to continue down the same path or do I want to, go a different way? And it also means a card of patience, because one of the messages of this card is that if we want the harvest now, if we try to harvest things too soon, they become sour. Usually this is a grape field, like a vineyard. And one of the messages is that you have to allow things to sweeten on the vine. Sometimes it takes time for things to really come to ripeness or fruition. If you harvest things too soon or too early, they're sour. So you really have to kind of wait for things to happen on their natural time, wait for things to ripen, wait for the time to be right. That's why this is also a card of patience. In the last week of March, there may be some difficulty with having patience with something. It may be difficult to allow things to ripen and sweeten. You may want the harvest now. So I'm going to encourage you to employ patience towards the last week of March. There's 2 sevens in reverse here, which are the spiritual element. So I'm going to say you may need to really rely upon your spiritual practice to not only have trust in yourself and defend your boundaries, but also to have patience and wait for that harvest to ripen. And if there's any changes that you want to make, last week of March is a good time to reassess and reevaluate, especially if you want different results. So that is my reading for you, Libra. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a thumbs up or share it with another Libra. Please do give me, feedback on whether you like the tarot mat, if you'd like me to continue using it, or if you'd like me to go back to the old format. And as always, I just want to thank everyone so much for watching. Yours in the stars.